Well, the stakes could hardly be higher tonight. It's a Greek Cypriot derby here from Lakeside Stadium, as second place Bentleigh Greens take on third place South Melbourne FC. It's tight at the top of the table, all sides within touching distance, but South Melbourne, having started the season on fire, now have dipped and face the in-form team in the league. 5 wins from 5 for the Bentleigh Greens. Will they make it 6 tonight? South Melbourne's notable absentees make it a tough ask, with top scorer Harry Sawyer in a moon boot pre-game, injuring the ligament in his big toe. He has been a huge loss for Hellas as they look to turn around this sudden poor run of form. Jerry Salados goes to the bench today after his penalty miss against Avondale. So does Ben Jeeba after giving away a penalty from which Avondale scored. The 2 other changes for South are in force, with number 11 Bradley Norton suspended due to accumulated yellow cards, and number 10 Marcus Schroen out with that shoulder injury he sustained, going down for what South fans believe should have been a penalty. In their place, Luke Adams comes in at right back to captain the side. Perry Lambropoulos plays at left back. Jake Marshall and Marko Jankovic round out the back four with Piers Clark between the sticks. Liram Elmazi is the holding midfielder, with Luke Pavlou and Henry Hoare ahead of him. Daniel Clark, Zach Bates and Josh Baresi make up the attack. For the Bentleigh Greens, just 2 changes. Number 15, Daniel Bowman, and number 21, Braden Crowley, the top scorer, dropped to the pine after their 5-1 win over the Melbourne Knights. Corey Sewell comes in holding midfield, and James Exidius plays right back. The rest of the lineup, Harvey Lopez between the sticks, Ben Carrigan and captain Jack Webster at the heart of the defence. Left back is Jacob Alexander. Mitch Hoare plays against his brother today. It's a family affair in the centre of the park. George Lambatarides makes up the midfield as well, with Damien Iaconis, Pierce Waring and Brent McGrath making up a fearsome attacking trio with 8 goals between them already this season. Josh Parrish here on the mic, and it's time to welcome Katie Lambeski to the commentary position here as well. Katie, what a match we've got on our hands.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great to be with you this evening, Josh. Couldn't ask for a better contest. Perfect conditions for football against 2 very proud sides. Should be a cracking contest ahead, and I can't wait.
Daniel Clark making early headway, but he can't find Henry Hoare. Will be crucial to distinguish the 2 members of the Hoare family tonight, as they're on different sides. And Bentleigh win a free kick. Liram Elmazi, I think the guilty party, a nominal central defender as he was in his Altona Magic days, but playing a midfield role at South Melbourne for the majority of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's been, I think, an integral part of the way South Melbourne set up under Esteban Quintas. Of course, he's plays such a pivotal part screening that back four, and he will be again tonight, you have to say.
And Batarides went the early ball looking for Brent McGrath. It's a curious setup, Bentleigh, how they managed to fit so many centre forwards in one lineup. They're only playing 3 of them today. They've been known to field 4 at a time. Damien Iaconis adapting to more of a playmaking role this season, either on the wing or in central midfield.
The depth is incredible, particularly with their attacking stocks, and the fact that they could leave, Alex Caniglia, Braden Crowley, Kieran Dover all on the bench tonight. Some definite firepower to call on if that's required, particularly in the latter stages of the game across a tiring defence. Unleash them on the field and see what they can do.
Brent McGrath, I should say, coming back from an offside position. Looks like vaguely a 4-2-3-1 today, with Pierce Waring in behind McGrath and Iaconis on the right, Mitchell Hoare on the left. For South, their familiar narrow 4-4-2. Elmazi is known to drop between the centre halves to help out in defence and make up a back 5 at times. Here's Clark, swings it in low. Zach Bates was arriving. And I'm really keen to see what Zach Bates can do today as part of that South Melbourne attack. He's been electric in brief cameo appearances, but that injury cloud always hangs over him. Those fragile hamstrings. Here he is trying to nip in ahead of Jack Webster. Henry Hoare trying to craft some space. Clark loves it on his left boot, and swings it in. Hoare up against Alexander, checks inside and back again. Some deft work down the right-hand side, and it takes a thumping clearance from the Bentleigh Greens captain to get it away. Marshall forward here for a potential long throw chance. And it does go long towards Elmazi, who wins the flick on. Bentleigh on the back foot early. South Melbourne starting strong. Very direct, but very purposeful so far, and Clark might be in here. Big save from Javi Lopez in the one-on-one. Came straight from Pierce Clark. They're really targeting Jacob Alexander at the moment, putting all sorts of balls in behind him, running at him. Maybe he needs a little bit more defensive help on that left-hand side, Katie.
Yeah, fantastic start from the home side, just really energetic, lots of run early on. Daniel Clark's going to be a real key, particularly with his ability to run and just run those channels, provide that all day. He's going to need to do that, and particularly with Josh Baresi being able to hold the ball up across that forward line.
Started at breakneck pace tonight. Don't know what Esteban Quintas said to the players in the rooms, but it certainly got them motivated as it's cut back towards Zach Bates, but it never arrived. Well, the way this one started, you'd be forgiven for thinking South Melbourne are the team who've won 5 in a row.
Absolutely. Putting Bentleigh under all sorts of pressure in these early goings. You wonder if they have that sort of firepower in them to maintain that, though. That's going to be the key, I think, in pressuring this Bentleigh defence.
Trying to bustle his way through was Josh Baresi. Javi Lopez will collapse on the ball and just give his side a little bit of time to set themselves and compose. Jankovic winning the header ahead of McGrath. Iaconis onto the second ball. McGrath got a touch for Mitchell Hoare. It was Daniel Clark tracking back and got a foot in there. Bentleigh back immediately. Alexander receiving the ball after Mitch Hoare struggled to find his footing. Looks like a bit of a slippery patch there on that far side. Webster. That one's Pierce Clark's every day of the week.
Going to be the key tonight, I think, with Bentleigh relying on that sort of connection between McGrath and Iaconis. As you mentioned, I think Iaconis playing more of a playmaker role, playing more central, and I think he's reaped the rewards of that with about 5 goals this season, and McGrath just has that ability to hold up the ball, that back-to-goal sort of striker, playing in his teammates, and I think it's been the key to some of Bentleigh's success in these recent weeks.
That's a brilliant ball by Jankovic. Gave Exidias plenty to do defensively as he arrives ahead of Zach Bates. 2 very rapid players up against each other tonight. That's a 100-metre dash.
It's going to be so important tonight, of course, Marko Jankovic coming up against his former side. Not afraid to get forward on his own right as well and have Almazi drip into that centre-back position at times when he has that opportunity to go forward. Chance now from the set piece now for South.
There's 6 South Melbourne attackers just all crowded on that D, ready to split and cause the Bentleigh defence some headaches. It's Clark's delivery, headed away and fired in by Luke Pavley. That's not really his forte. It's Lambertarides who won that header in a crowded penalty area. Trying to play out from the back through Ben Carrigan. Mitch Hoare headed down, but Pierce Waring slipped. Alexander now was caught. That's a nasty challenge, and that'll be the first yellow card of the evening for Henry Hoare. No, Luke Pavlou, I should say. My apologies.
Fair decision that by the man in the middle this evening in Adam Bavkar, of course in charge of this game today. Plenty of feeling when these two sides play, of course. And, expect no different tonight with massive implications in the NPL Victoria title race, particularly when you consider Avondale and Heidelberg tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Of course, at Olympic Village, I believe. Just a massive weekend all around.
Well, it's lucky round 13. I think we, the viewers, and the fans of NPL Victoria are the lucky ones, as all the top sides face off this weekend. Pavlu copping a push in the back. Eight thoroughly absorbing minutes played here. Best chance falling to Daniel Clark. Harvey Lopez made himself big. Smothered it before Clark really had a chance to place it either side. It's flicked on towards Clark, who gets a header on it of his own. Now Lambropoulos has drifted infield. Very congested in there. Pavlu to the feet of Baresi, trying to do his best Harry Sawyer imitation tonight. It's not quite the same style of player, but does have a physical presence about him.
Absolutely has that build to play as a striker, but you saw how quickly that Bentleigh defence was able to shut him down very quickly. I don't think he can play striker, of course, but I don't ultimately think that's where he's best suited. I can't wait to see him and Harrison Sawyer be that link up front, just play him in that out-and-out 10 position. I think that's where his best football's played, honestly.
Another player coming up against his former side tonight. A couple of ex-greens donning the blue of South, and here is Josh Baresi, who goes past Javi Lopez. The net was unguarded, but for the desperate sliding challenge coming in from George Lambatarides, who's saved a goal there.
Excellent transition with the play there. Baresi, just such a deft touch for a big man, has that ability to split open defences as well. Just outstanding all around, and that's you demand more of that if you're Esteban Quintas. A lot of energy from Bates and Clark down these wings in the early going.
Well, that was Zach Bates winning the ball, and he covered about 40 metres in the space of a couple of seconds. That was breakneck speed from the number 20. Slid a delightful ball through to Josh Baresi, who did exactly the right thing. He rounded the goalkeeper. He put it on target from a narrow angle. It's difficult to get that one in the air and on target at the same time from that kind of position with your left foot. George Lambatarides bailing his side out. Now Clark with the corner kick. It's in dangerously. Might drop for Baresi. Yankovic was waiting for it as well. I think it was Brent McGrath who got it clear in the end. South looked like a completely different side to the one I saw play against Avondale last week. They were, after Marcus Schroen went off, completely lost. Really listless. This is a much more purposeful, much more polished South Melbourne side from the one we've seen in recent weeks.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think they were rather flat-footed and reactive last week, and they got caught out against the side so free scoring, such as Avondale have been this season. I don't think you can allow for that. You just allow that pressure to build up, and you have to start your games quicker. You have to start your games on the front foot, and that's exactly what they've been able to do here. Adams.
Clark. Silky touch from him. Pavlu running forwards. Cynical challenge. Is that a yellow card produced there? Couldn't quite see from our vantage point. Like it might have been.
Once again, the Bentleigh defence exposed there. Really, really caught out with some open space for South to run into. I don't believe that was a yellow card, but we'll confirm that in a moment.
It was, actually. It was produced. Yep. It was completely side onto us, so we couldn't see the yellow at all. But has been dished out by Adam Bavker, and Ben Carrigan is the second player in the book tonight.
The benefits of live streaming, Josh.
Instant replay on hand. Thank goodness for that. Bit of pinball around the edge of the box. Might fall for Baresi. Thundering challenge from Zach Bates. He's been a force of nature so far this evening. Just hope he can keep it up. He's always such a tantalising player when we see glimpses of him and he's fit and he can affect the game mostly as an impact sub, but as a starter we haven't seen too much of him in a South Melbourne jersey. Iaconis was expected a free kick that never came. They just haven't let Bentleigh settle on the ball at all and play the kind of slick possession football that they're known for. Iaconis. Carrigan. Harried by Baresi. Question is, can South Melbourne keep up this level of intensity that's served them so well in the opening 13 minutes? Lopez. Carrigan. For Waring. Lambatarides. Corey Sewell now. Bit of sustained Bentleigh possession for the first time in a while. It's Hall, Lambatarides and Waring all getting touches. And South dropping a little deeper than they have for most of this evening. It's more we're accustomed to seeing that back line. It's just in front of the edge of the box. But it all peters out and South's trademark defensive discipline on show.
Decent spell of possession there. They want to build on that.
Salmazi for Jankovic. Trying to build from the back themselves this time and gives Bentleigh a chance to press. A bit hairy at the back there, but South get it away with the long clearance eventually. Jacob Alexander. Peels for handball, but not given. Against Iaconis. Jankovic judged that beautifully. Such an intelligent defender, really knows when to nip in front of his man when they're least expecting it. Takes those calculated risks all the time. Exidius for Sewell. Iaconis now. Sewell plays in Waring. Went for something audacious with the pass there and it didn't come off. Not even close, really.
Just struggling to find that opening a little bit there. Decent spell of possession. They're going to want to repeat that, but these transitions again by South and Bates spreading the attack really well here.
Here is Zach Bates. Deflection on the cross. Baresi's in there. Cuts it back for Clark. There was a little deflection on that one. Took the sting out of what was already a pretty tame shot from Daniel Clark. I just feel with his left foot, he should have put a little bit more pepper on that one.
Once again, though, that deft touch of Baresi giving that opening there for South Melbourne to try and manufacture an opportunity there, but they just got to be careful, Bentleigh. They can't get caught too far up ahead with Bates providing all that energy. There's just that opportunity for South to catch Bentleigh out in the transition. They're going to want to look to exploit that over these coming minutes.
Some news from around the grounds. Altona Magic nil, St Albans 1. Going in towards the half-time break. A goal for Nick Dibb and a red card for Altona. So, in fact, that might be Christopher Dibb, actually. I get my Dibbs mixed up, but that's the St Albans player who scored in the 34th minute. 39th minute red card for Altona. And the bottom side in the league, winless, their woes continue.
Absolutely massive stakes in the relegation battle. There's both sides look to get out of the drop zone. contrasting fortunes over here as we catch a top of the table clash.
Real 6-pointer, that one. Here's Baresi for South Melbourne. Clark playing some one-touch stuff with Pavlu, whose return was far too heavy. Good pressure from Adams, wearing the captain's armband today in the absence of Brad Norton. It's great to see him back playing regular senior football after his nightmare run of injuries in the past couple of years.
Absolutely, just needs that consistent run of football, just get those minutes in the legs. And he's been such a vital performer, I think, for South for this half season, of course.
Jake Marshall. Adams, just as we sing his praises, sends that one out of play. Rather shanked that clearance, but Bentleigh can't muster anything from it. Carrigan. Back by Sewell. And again. Bentleigh seem to have weathered the early storm by the skin of their teeth, must be said.
Still just struggling to break down this South wall, more or less, this low block that South are playing, and just keeping really Bentleigh at bay at the moment, and they're just struggling to find that final pass. Of course, they do have attacking options to call on late in the game when space starts to open up a little bit more.
It's in for McGrath, who touches it down for Waring! Well, that couldn't be more against the run of play. But Bentleigh are hot. And it's just falling their way this season. Brent McGrath with an assist for Pierce Waring to score his 5th goal of the season in 8 games. What a finish.
Immaculate knockdown from Brent McGrath there, right into the path of Waring, who took that chance beautifully. Outstanding goal. And when you're hot, you're hot. When you're in form, you're in form. And Bentleigh is showing that just right there. 20 minutes gone and it's a 1-0 lead, and you have to say it's against the run of play.
How cruel for South Melbourne. 20 minutes into what I would regard as their best performance of the season, and they go behind. Football's a funny old game, and Pierce Waring, with one clean hit off his left boot, has undone all that good work. The away side take the lead.
And that's his 5th goal in only 8 appearances. So when you look at this run that Bentleigh have been on, he's been crucial to that outstanding finish. Just took his chance perfectly.
Smash and grab is not usually what we associate with Bentleigh Greens. It's usually quite the opposite, creating boatloads of chances and only putting a couple away. But that's clinical. A couple of ex-Melbourne Victory youth products in this Bentleigh team with Carrigan, Waring. I believe Exidius was part of the setup once upon a time. It's going back a bit. Just
such a, I guess, such a depth that they've been able to bring to this Bentleigh side. And of course it goes back to that John Anastasiadis era, who's been able to bring such a such success, and of course leave such a wonderful opportunity for Nick Tolios to come in and take and make it his own. So just such a stable club from the top down. They've just been able to stay up there always, and just been able to build year upon year, and they've been just a mainstay, a fantastic team for the league.
It all starts with the recruitment, and they usually succeed in that department, Bentleigh. Of course, we haven't really seen any of Iradikunda, who signed from Western United amid much fanfare, but it's been totally out of contention this season. Bates with a little dummy and jinx past Damien Iaconis. It's Bates in for Lambropoulos. Well, it was Corey Sewell who just did enough to put him off, sliding in front and blocking the path to an easy shot. Here's Lambropoulos again. And another intervention from Corey Sewell, who is an important enforcer at the base of the midfield there.
Absolutely, and that goal might be the best thing probably to happen to South Melbourne. Might just draw them forward a little bit more, try to get them, get more on the front foot rather than get them further up the field rather than sitting back as the ball comes in.
Here's Henry Hoare. A shout for a penalty. In fact, it was Luke Pavlou with a shot. A couple of black-haired South Melbourne midfielders that I seem to keep confusing, but rather tame shout for a spot kick, I would have thought. What did you make of that, Katie?
Close. I thought there was more to that than what the Josh Baresi even made of that, but very, very close, but referee saw nothing in it.
Just looking at the replay, it looked as if Alexander kind of held his ground and Baresi just ran into him and left a trailing leg, so...
just a bit stronger in the challenge, I guess.
Yeah. Don't think Alexander really created that collision. And Adam Bavka had no interest whatsoever in awarding a penalty. Need to do better than that, South. South Melbourne have not fared well after going a goal down this season. Almost unbeatable after they take the lead, but after going behind, the record isn't all that pretty. They haven't been behind too often, in fairness.
Just around the grounds as well. It's half-time at Paisley Park, and it is level. It is 1-1 at the half-time break between Altona and St Albans. Of course, we have that live as well on the NPL Victoria Facebook and YouTube live streams.
If a scrappy relegation six-pointer is more your jam. Certainly be drama in that one, I think. That's more quality on display here at Lakeside. It's all a matter of taste. And that one's already got a red card in it, so if you fancy a bit of biff, maybe you should switch over.
Or, with the benefit of live streaming, you can catch both games live across your streams, of course. Fantastic to have live football back in Victoria. Top-level Victorian NPL flight football here.
Here's Bates from range into the back of Jack Webster. Pavlou goes down rather tamely. Hoare. For Carrigan. And now maybe Bentleigh can spring something. Peters out quickly from Corey Sewell and co.
South being very successful in pinning back that Bentleigh midfield two of Sewell and Lambadarides. Of course, Lambadarides thrives of just being that midfield metronome, getting that space on the ball and just being able to spray passes. It's a good press by South Melbourne here, though.
Lambropoulos on the overlap. Charging for the byline and has to check back. That's a lovely spin by Lambropoulos. Away from the near post by Alexander. Came across to cover. Short corner. Henry Hoare past Iaconis. In low. And Liam Elmazi couldn't direct his shot on target. What a chance.
Despite the scoreline, they have had the more of the chances. They have had the better of the chances in this early going. But it's all about how you take them at the end of the day, of course. Fantastic work down the flank there, first by Lambropoulos and then by Hoare down that side.
Yeah, initially I thought it was deflected, but absolutely not. Just side-footed wide of the goal from point-blank range by Elmazi. Bit of a head-scratcher. But I have to say, Damien Iaconis, however well he's adapted to a midfield role this season, is not a defender in any way, shape or form, and he let Henry Hoare get past him rather easily.
Just got to tighten up there, especially around the center, especially around those set pieces. Must be said though, neither side really making much of their set piece chances so far in this game.
It's just really flat-footed from Iaconis. He's just on his heels, and any change of direction, he was in the dust.
Got to be switched on there though, for sure.
Especially against Henry Hoare, who's got very quick feet. Clark winning the flick on. Here's Pearce Waring, the goal scorer. If you're just joining us, it is 1-0 to the visitors. Very much against the run of play this evening. It was an excellent goal, though. Lovely finish of a bouncing ball with his left boot. Struck it clean and true with the laces and into the corner of the net. No chance for Pearce Clark. South trying to muster a response here. Baresi goes down. Bigger shout there. And the home crowd thought there was more in that. What did you make of that, Katie?
Close, very close call there. He made the defender force the issue there, did Baresi, with, again, those deft feet, those deft touch of his. Have a look at this replay now. Just coming behind there. Close. Might be a bit unfortunate there, Baresi.
It was a silly challenge from Corey Sewell. He didn't really need to make it because Webster was jockeying Baresi and seemed to have him pretty well covered. He just steamed in from behind, and I've seen those given, Katie.
Yeah, absolutely. You can put that definitely in that category. He didn't need to make the challenge. Of course, where was he going to go to? He just needed to play that a little bit more smarter there, but a bit of a let-off, you might have to say there for Bentleigh.
It's not been the first time tonight. Bentleigh have been let off the hook for various reasons, be it poor finishing or, in this case, a refereeing non-decision. Here's Luke Adams at right back. Nice change of direction from the captain for the evening. Now Omazi with space to play a searching long diagonal, and he's really fluffed it into Lambropoulos. Ready to run in behind Exidius. He played it behind him.
Hasn't really had much opportunity to get on the overlap as Lambropoulos, but when he has, South have looked better for it. I think that's where they might have to call on Jerry Salatos in the second half to try, who obviously, of course, favours cutting inside. Lambropoulos can get on the end of that opportunity down that side too. Can't leave Josh Baresi just chasing across the halfway line all game. We're going to need to get that supply to him as the big man leading the line tonight.
Well, one of South Melbourne's best chances for all their good play came from a long ball from the goalkeeper over the top and straight through for a 1v1. So there's no shame in mixing it up tonight. So Luke Adams tries to do just that, this time into the channel. Alexander got it away, but only as far as El Mazi. Now Carrigan's header falls fortuitously to Sewell. Not over yet for South. Might be now. Lambatarides for Waring. Alexander goes direct. The flick on one by McGrath, but Jankovic should clean this up, and that's classy. From the former Bentleigh Greens player, how they miss him. And he's still going, Marko Jankovic. What a player.
Well played. That's a fantastic effort there from the big centre-back.
He draws a round of applause from the crowd as well. Deservedly so.
Absolutely. He's been such a handy addition for South Melbourne this season. And you're right, Bentleigh do miss that big presence at the back there.
I mean, he is obviously a physical player, but he's just so graceful on the ball. Few defenders in the league have his poise and his close control, especially at that height.
Absolutely. Was, I think, instrumental in one of their earlier games against Altona Magic. He was able to score, was able to assist, was able to win a penalty. He contributed to at least 3 of the 4 goals they scored that day, and he's just been, I think that was just an outstanding performance, a man of the match quality performance if I ever saw one. Just such quality. Of course, he has that touch, that ability to play the ball out, ability to connect with his midfield as well. outstanding addition to the squad this season.
Marshall goes direct this time, and Carrigan gets in the way. Here's Bates, who's always dangerous when he starts to run at defenders. It's a good ball in, but Daniel Clark was too far in front of the near post when he connected with that to have any sort of chance of scoring, especially with his left foot. Exidias with green grass ahead of him. He looks for Iaconis.
Just need a little bit more from their midfield, you have to say. They've just been pinned back and just been a little bit isolated. Of course, we know that they have the firepower. We know they have goals in them, as we saw, on the 20th minute mark, of course, through that goal to Pierce Waring. They just need more of that. They just need to put South under that repeated pressure, and that involves their midfield just getting on the ball a bit more, pushing up the field a little bit more, try to get them under pressure, try to get back on the front foot here.
Nice combination there to work the ball out of a congested area. It's good hold-up work from Baresi. Elmazi on the outside has won a throw. Here's Henry Hoare. For Clark, wrestling with Carrigan. Ball stuck underneath the Bentleigh defender. Now Sewell for Waring. First time ball was off. Could hear echoing across the ground the protestations of Esteban Quintas. It's a great area, that one, when the ball gets stuck underneath the player accidentally. Could be an indirect free kick if you're being strict.
Always fun, though, too. The intimate surrounds of NPL Victoria grounds, you get to hear everything. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but we take it all, and that's why we love it.
Lakeside Stadium, less intimate than some other grounds, of course, with the athletics track in between us and the field, but the acoustics certainly carry. Waring. Mitch Hoare. Back with Pierce Waring now. And now Mitch Hoare bursting into the box. Who's arriving? It's only his brother. Unfortunately for him, is playing for the other team. South Melbourne winning a free kick.
Doesn't seem to be much, I guess, consistency with Bentleigh on the ball. They just keep, continuing to fall down just across that midfield mark, particularly through attack. Haven't had that, I guess, ability to put South under that repeat pressure for a sustained period of time. And it allows South to just generate those opportunities on the transition. Clark and, of course, Bates across our broadcast wing here, really putting in a mountain of work, trying to get South these opportunities.
Waring pumps it long, searching for Liram Elmazi. He's playing a bit of a box-to-box role tonight, getting a bit further forward than he has done earlier in the season and acting as a target for these flick-ons. Maybe what they've been missing without Harry Sawyer, albeit in a slightly deeper position. Bates. Hoare. Searching for Clark. Bit of hesitation, but Carrigan got it clear. Marshall forced to go all the way back. Bentleigh pressing. Elmazi goes long, and the header down is good from Clark. Baresi. Adams caught in possession. And he'll win the throw. He did well to recover there. Zach Bates copping some close physical attention. Here's Baresi, who chips it over the top. Henry Hoare goes down. He was the only one of his teammates who was appealing, I should say. So, apart from the crowd, but if you count them as the 12th man, I suppose. Pierce Waring now. Bit of space to shoot. He slipped and Jake Marshall lets it cannon off his shins. Bates running into a cul-de-sac and pushed over by Exidius. He'll claim he was just defending himself against the fast-arriving Zach Bates. It's been a rare lull in this game, Katie, after so much action end-to-end. A bit of breathing space for both teams to try and work each other out.
Yeah, still just trying to get, I think, a read for each other's just sort of patterns, particularly with Bentleigh trying to figure out a way past South's defence.
Baresi charges forward here. Silky stuff from the South Melbourne's new signing, Harvey Lopez, with a good save. It's Pavlu trying to find space on his left. Webster furiously demanding a goal kick, but it'll be a South Melbourne corner instead. That was great work from Josh Baresi. Took it all on his own two broad shoulders, and he received the ball on the halfway line.
Quite the turn of pace there too, which was outstanding to see as the ball comes in here from the corner.
It's Adams heading it across goal. There's no one on the edge of the 6-yard box to retrieve it. Put it in the net. Surely an offside flag here against Jankovic. Delayed flag, delayed whistle, but Jankovic gets some shooting practice in at least. It's going back to that Baresi run. Receives the ball in the middle of the park. Little shimmy past Mitch Hoare. Past Lambatoridis for pace. And checks out back inside him, leaving him prone on the deck. That would have been one of the goals of the season.
Undoubtedly, but it also highlights just that deficiency South have going forward. They just don't have the numbers at the end of the day. That ideally you would have someone running off Baresi there, trying to receive a pass or try to drag a defender out, to allow him that extra bit of space to maybe get a clearer shot on target. Bentleigh doing really well at trying to close him down at all times. The defenders quickly converge on him, at least 2 or 3 to him, particularly when he gets onto the ball. Hence why he needed to drop into that midfield there.
Has played in the centre of midfield, Baresi. I think you can see that from the way he controls the ball and the way he's very much able to create play as well as act as a number 9. Push in the back by Clark on Webster. He was less than impressed with that. Pretty obvious free kick. Still 1-1 over at Paisley Park between Altona Magic and St Albans. It's young Jonas Markovski who's scored in first half stoppage time. That one into the 51st minute now. Altona down to 10 after an Alex Castillejo red card. Didn't take him long after joining from Heidelberg to get his first suspension. It's just Altona Magic's luck. They've found new and exciting ways to lose games this season. Bates winning that one. Hall goes down for a free kick.
Lots of changes there, of course, for Altona, particularly in this mid-season transfer window. But South here trying to get back on the front foot, trying to regain just that ascendancy that they've had in the early going. Clark and Baresi really doing well to link up there, but it's a turnover.
Yeah, Baresi just took an awkward touch and lost his standing foot. Seen a few players lose their footing tonight. It hasn't been raining, so wonder if the pitch was a little chewed up by the women's game earlier. Of course, a hybrid surface at Lakeside, so does stand up pretty well to heavy use. Here's Lambatarides. Brent McGrath buys a throw-in.
Just needed someone to run off him there. Just needed someone in support just to drop back, take the pass, and then probably generate a chance from there. But opportunity now just to cause some repeat pressure in these last few minutes. Of course, we'll keep an eye on how much stoppage time. Can't be too much, you would think.
Creating room where there was none, and Bentleigh will get a corner out of this. 44 minutes played in Albert Park. Jacob Alexander is the man entrusted to take this one for the visiting Bentleigh Greens. So the back stick for Carrigan. Baresi heads away. Lots of time for James Exidius to head that one back to his Spanish goalkeeper. Don't often see NPL sides use foreign spots on a goalkeeper, but I have to say Javi Lopez has adapted pretty well to life here in Australia.
Yeah, of course, it's taken a few weeks, as you always expect that, players to get their feet under them, especially goalkeepers adapting to a new league, of course. But you're right, it's always a risk, particularly if you look at how the rich sort of depth we have here in terms of goalkeepers here in Australia.
An injury stoppage here for Daniel Clark. Looks in a bit of pain, and that would be a mighty blow for South Melbourne if they were to lose him, one of their best players so far this evening.
Looks to be back up and moving, though.
Just trying to make a point to the referee, I think. Just holding his head. I think it was a bit of a head clash. Felt he was unfairly targeted in the back there.
Hopefully we'll get a quick look at him at halftime with the physios just to try and check in on him as well, given all we know about head injuries and head collisions and concussions now. Just hoping wasn't too serious.
And that is half-time here at Lakeside Stadium, where South Melbourne started like a house on fire. They put Bentleigh Greens under all sorts of pressure, but it was all to naught. And Bentleigh Greens against the run of play. Smash and grab. Brent McGrath heading down for Pierce Waring to net his 5th goal of the season in just 8 games. A left-footed drive that was unstoppable even for Pierce Clark. And at half-time, with Bentleigh Greens settling into things in that last 10 minutes, feels as if South have blown a major chance to upset the informed team in the league. Still all to play for, of course, here at Lakeside Stadium with just the 1-goal margin. Katie, your thoughts?
Very, very impressive start by South Melbourne, and as you can see, just some of the statistics on screen at this time. They've had most of the shots. They've had their opportunities. They just haven't been able to convert, and they're going to need to just build on that early pressure, start strong again in this early going in the second half. Massive 45 minutes ahead in this title race, you have to say, but Bentleigh too classy with their firepower. They just have the ability to make a difference with not much opportunity at all. And they'll look to build on that. They'll want to start strong as well in the early goings in the second half. and of course plenty of opportunity on the bench as well for players like Cornelia, Dover, and of course Braden Crowley to come off the bench as well if they need that massive second 45, and we look forward to bringing it all to you.
Yeah, stay with us here on the NPL Victoria Streams as the ear-splitting PA system cuts us off like we're making an acceptance speech at the Oscars. We go to half-time. South Melbourne 0, Bentleigh Greens 1. Catch us in 15 minutes. Welcome back to Lakeside. A match with huge implications for the title race. South Melbourne 0, Bentleigh Greens 1 at the break. But it does not tell the full story of what happened in that opening 45 minutes. South, with plenty of chances, plenty of territory, making plenty of noise, but with nothing to show for it on the scoreboard as of yet. Josh Parrish here with Katie Lambeski in the commentary position. Katie, what did you make of that first 45 minutes? There was plenty of talking points arising from that.
Absolutely. And you have to point to South's fast start, particularly in those 20 minutes, but I think they just got rocked by that Warring goal. I think McGrath was just able to delightfully knock that ball down right into the path of Waring, who tucked that ball home at the 20th minute mark. But South just need, I think, to find that run again. They just need to, get back on the front foot, start quick. I think they're going to come back on field as selected, but we'll keep an eye on any changes, of course, through halftime and through this second half. You see that man in the middle there, Daniel Clark, I think, who's going to be very important with his run. Again, his ability to split the defences a little bit more. Zach Bates, of course, providing a lot of energy as well. But yeah, massive 45 still ahead to come. Bentleigh, I think, are going to need to be on top of their game if they're going to want to see this home.
False start for Liam Elmazi. And Adam Bavka does get us back underway. Long ball from Luke Adams to start things, looking for that man Liam Elmazi, who's acted as an aerial target in the centre of the park. Quite effectively so. Here's Lambropoulos, the left back, stopped in his tracks by James Exidius. Still got quite a creative force in Jerry Salados to bring in off the bench if they so choose. Elmazi's flick again. Uncontested for Javier Lopez. And Nick Tollius' side, unfazed by South Melbourne high press, will look to build from the back where possible, as Henry Hoare is flagged for an obvious offside. Looked a little guilty playing the pass, he knew it.
Elmazi again starting a bit more as that sort of box-to-box midfield position, not directly screening the back four at all times, but I think he's going to be crucial in supporting Baresi, particularly in not allowing him to be isolated just across that front half, across that midfield position. He's going to just be key, as always, as he has been through this season.
Long throw up the line. Lambatarides with the header. Carrigan. A pin ball in the centre of the park. Pavlu. Back heel from Bates. Lambropoulos trying to pick out Daniel Clark, and he does so. It was a challenging ball to bring down. And we have had a change at halftime. It's Daniel Bowman. Just slipped us by, but he's playing at left back ahead of Jacob Alexander. And here he is with the cross into the danger zone. Too heavy for Pierce Waring, who does retrieve the ball on the far side. Alexander was a little suspect defensively, I think, in that first half, and was targeted by South Melbourne, especially early on in the game. So perhaps Nick Tolios just making that change to shore up that position. And Daniel Bowman loves to get forward as well and has a really accurate cross on him. Known taker of set pieces, so in a way he's a like-for-like replacement.
Might have better luck with just trying to curb that run, try to curb that attacking thrust that Daniel Clark has been providing. Of course, he did have his number, particularly in the first half, and might be a very shrewd move by Nick Tolios.
Here's Exidius, the other fullback for Bentleigh, who's retained his place. They've also got Corey Sewell, who can play in a fullback role in a pinch, so Daniel Bowman could easily swap places with him and they'd both be just as comfortable. Very versatile, the two.
Might be a shrewd move ultimately, because I think Bentleigh's, I guess where Bentleigh have been falling down, particularly spent through midfield, they haven't been able to just get much pressure. Just that repeat pressure may just need that little bit of extra energy there. As Bentleigh look to make the forward foray here.
The chipped ball from Iaconis was cut out. Clark has Bowman nipping at his heels. Lambatarides back to Webster. Iaconis. Iaconis was a bit of a peripheral figure for most of that half. Didn't really have much joy in forward areas. Couldn't find those gaps that he loves to take up residence in between defence and midfield lines of the opposition.
And that's particularly where South have been very successful, just been able to, you know, maintain just that block, maintain just that sort of defensive structure that have served them so well, and has left Iaconis isolated here, but some space has opened up.
It's Waring who drives it with venom. Teed up by McGrath again, just as he was for the opening goal. Stings the palms of Pierce Clark. He's got a venomous shot on him, Pierce Waring. He's already scored once this evening.
Very much a warning shot there for the South defence. Doesn't take much opportunity for Bentleigh to hurt teams, particularly, you know, on the transition, particularly with this forward half that they have. But a chance to build some pressure now. Just repeat pressure, lock the ball in their half and try to continue to put that South defensive block under pressure.
Baresi, double teamed and dragged to the floor, but Jack Webster maybe gets away with one there. Sewell not giving anything away against Adams, and Luke Adams got there first. Harvey Lopez willing his defence forward towards the halfway line. Baresi touch on the chest and loses out to Iaconis, who's fouled. Bit of a shoving match between he and Zach Bates, which is snuffed out swiftly by Adam Bavka. A little bit more proactive in that scuffle than perhaps the referee was in the Altona game. We were having a look at it half-time, Katie. That one spiralled out of control and there was a red card dished out.
I'm sure we'll be hearing more of that throughout the coming few days. Madness across there in Paisley Park. Of course, both sides fighting for survival in the NPL.
Lots at stake in the league this weekend. It's a bit of a critical juncture in the season as we approach, well, this is the halfway point, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, round 13 here. All to play for, of course. It gets getting very, very tight at the top. And, of course, tomorrow's game, Avondale and Heidelberg, will only complicate matters further, you would think.
It's difficult to do the maths and see who will end up where when we don't have that crucial piece of information yet, but there are so many contenders this season. Bentleigh certainly one, South another. Avondale, Hume City have staked their claim in recent weeks. Heidelberg, of course, perennially a factor in the title race. Even Oakley have bags of quality in that first team squad, even if it isn't shining on a week-to-week basis as Chris Taylor might like.
And, of course, you have the resurgence of the Melbourne Knights under Steve Beveridge, who put together quite a great run in the early going. having a bit of difficulty with injury now, but I think they're very good value for a final spot, but they're going to have to fight for it.
Reel off half the league in that conversation, but certainly Knights having a dip at the moment with injuries and form going awry. Free kick opportunity for South Melbourne here. For Daniel Clark to whip one in. Pavlu didn't fancy his chances from range, and that's a nothing ball. I mean, if you're not going to shoot, play it to Daniel Clark.
Just get on the front foot, try to find an opening, but that's just where they're falling down. That's just continuing to not have just that someone there to push forward. Marcus Schrain, of course, I think is an X-factor player who you can rely on in those situations, but of course I don't think he's factoring into the lineup today. Might be turning to the bench though shortly. Joe Salatos has to be an option, you would have to think.
Well, if you'd watched the first 10 minutes and the first 10 minutes alone, you would have thought Esteban Quintas is a genius and this was the perfect selection. But the longer this game goes on, the more you kind of hanker for a player like Jerry Salatos to knit it all together. Maybe, a Luke Pavlu could make way if you're trying to take a more offensive approach in the game. A couple of playmakers in the middle of the park. It might undo a bit of the defensive structure, though, which Quintas, of course, insists upon. So it's a matter of timing there. That's a nasty tackle. Silly one from Marko Jankovic, who was singing his praises in the first half, and that's uncharacteristic, poor judgment to take out Mitch Hall in a pretty non-threatening situation. Just a frustration foul.
Yeah, just was an unnecessary challenge on that part, but they just need to reassess here at the moment, South Melbourne. Of course, when you fall behind, that's when these sorts of defensive structures can come under a bit of pressure, particularly when you don't have those extra numbers forward. It can, allow pressure to build back on you on the other way. So that goal from Pierce Waring might prove telling when this is all said and done. Plenty of football left here, though. What can South find?
It's Daniel Bowman for Bentleigh. Clark heading away. Mitch Haw to an onside Jack Webster, who goes for goal himself. Audacious from the centre half, but we've seen him score special goals before, notably in grand finals. So why not? Here's McGrath winning it back high up the park, and a Bentleigh throw will ensue. Lovely hold-up play from Baresi. Henry Haw fouled and was trodden on as he grabbed the ball. That's sparked another blow-up. When you do grab the ball like that, you force the referee into a tough decision. I don't think he was intentionally studded there in the hand. It's just put his arms in harm's way.
Bit of a risky situation there that he put himself in, just trying to grab the ball there, but
Exidias goes into the book there. Just confirmation of that yellow card for James Exidias.
Returning to the side, of course, tonight.
Just a bit of a cynical foul to stop that counter-attack. Is, I think, another foul that was perhaps unnecessary.
Looks like we might be seeing Jerry Salatos coming on imminently.
That's an exciting one, but it looks like it'll be another of their attacking players withdrawn, if I can read that board correctly. Yes, Josh Baresi has his number come up, and I'm honestly dumbfounded by that, Katie.
That's strange.
He's been good tonight.
He's been outstanding. I think he's been outstanding in the way that he's been able to hold up the ball, be that sort of focal point. I think if if anything, he just needed to be the one to link up with Salados. He just needed that extra partner there going forward. But looks like Quintas is happy with the setup at the moment.
Salados for Baresi changes the setup, though, Katie. That's why I'm scratching my head, because they're really players, wrong with the structure. But how is Salados going to play as a hold-up man? Maybe they put Daniel Clark up there eventually.
Maybe switches positions just a little bit. Maybe drifts wide while Clark maybe drifts into more the centre. It's baffling. It's baffling.
We'll see how it turns out. I mean, Esteban Quintas is the one with the Continental Pro license, and I don't think either of us are that qualified, unless you're hiding something from me, Katie.
I very much assure you I am not, but definitely makes for, I guess, a fascinating half hour to see how this goes. We might be left with egg on our faces, though. We'll have to wait and see.
Certainly opens up transitional possibilities with Zach Bates moving into the front two. But no focal point, and I feel as if South have really struggled without a focal point. No Sawyer, no Baresi now. Where's the ball going to stick, is my question. Or for McGrath. It's a lovely ball from Brent McGrath. Laying one on for Pierce Waring again, who took slightly too long to dig that one out of his feet. It's a really nice ball around the corner from Brent McGrath. Look at that. Curled perfectly into the path of Waring and away from Marko Jankovic. Lovely reverse. Mitch Hoare looking for his options, and he fired in a pacey delivery that was blocked. Bentleigh corner kick. Lambatarides, after some hesitation, is the man tasked with this. Bates chasing back on Mitch Hoare to prevent the short corner from being taken. Webster's flick. Jankovic had Pierce Waring climbing on his shoulders, and that'll be South Melbourne free.
Just another story of this game. I think neither side have been able to get full value from their set-piece opportunities as we hit the hour mark here.
Jack Webster chasing that one down. Doing well up against Bates. Speaking of Webster, we've got members of the Webster clan watching on the Facebook live stream. Big hello to young Henry Webster, Jack's nephew, who won his under-8s match this morning. Fantastic stuff. We'll see if we can make it a Webster family double, should Bentleigh hold on. Let us know where you're watching from. Chaos in the penalty area as Clark eventually lofts that one over the bar.
Still playing more of that sort of wide position here as Bentleigh tried to get the game back up and going right away. Trying to catch South out here with some space. They have been looking to do that, I think, throughout this game. Just been able to get to try to disrupt South's ability to get behind the ball.
Such an absorbing contest we've seen so far. Only one goal, but so much action to sink our teeth into, and still got another half hour or so. Henry Hoare loves to run at defenders. He goes down. It's a penalty. Henry Hoare with pace and trickery that proved too much for the Bentleigh Greens defence. And off a quick transition, South Melbourne find a potential route back into the game. I think the foul was against Jack Webster.
Absolutely there, but just goes to show South's strength again in the transition. Henry Hoare putting in a lot of work today across that wing, and he's been rewarded there with that effort, forcing the challenge, forcing the issue there. Massive, massive moment in this game.
It will be Marko Jankovic on penalty duties. Jerry Salados, of course, missed one last week. A brilliant save from Rory Bryan denying him. And Jankovic, who's already taken penalties this season for South, has 2 goals in the league. Steps up and puts it straight down the middle. The home crowd roars, and Marko Jankovic, cool, calm, collected, sends Harvey Lopez the wrong way. A lifeline for South Melbourne. It's all square here at Lakeside.
Cool as you like, Marko Jankovic, easy as you go, straight through the middle, in front of goal. Outstanding taken penalty, his 2nd goal of the season, and what a way to do it. What a crucial moment in this game. It's 1-1. Lovely, lovely goal, lovely penalty there from Marko Jankovic.
Oh, Bentleigh, a bit of carelessness at the back. It's Henry Hoare's endeavour that's created it. And it sets up a mouth-watering climax. Daniel Bowman goes down in a similar situation, but Luke Adams stood his ground and it's deemed a legal challenge. It might be a handball against Zach Bates there. So says the body language of Adam Bavka.
Tension starting to rise here in the stands at Lakeside, and tempers beginning to flare a little bit on field. Both sides know there's plenty at stake here tonight.
Exidius. Straight to El Mazi, whose clearance is deflected straight to Zach Bates. Tackles flying in. It's getting really physical out there, and got another stoppage in play. Webster puts it into touch.
This is where Bentleigh need to regain their composure just a little bit here. They look a bit frayed by that goal. They look a bit stunned by it. And it's a massive moment for South to try and expose that, to try and find a 2nd goal in quick succession. Ball comes in.
Sewell's header. Thumped away by Exidius. Marshall with a huge header. And El Mazi flicks it on straight to the Bentleigh goalkeeper. Just saw a stat flash up on screen there, Katie, thanks to our graphics team over at Liga. 18 fouls in this game, so certainly been a lot of feeling in this Greek Cypriot derby.
Absolutely getting a little bit willing here. As you expect in these top-of-the-table games, they can be tense, they can be cagey.
Webster. Brent McGrath forced backwards. Mitch Hoare now for Sewell. Bentleigh trying to increase the speed and zip on that ball in their possession play. It's building nicely here. McGrath just misplaced his pass and wrong-footed a teammate.
Feels like it might be a perfect time for Nick Tolios to make a change here. Possibly Damien Iconis just hasn't had the opportunities tonight. Possibly Braden Crowley to slot in behind Brent McGrath. Possibly just a more out-and-out 4-4-2 here. But doesn't look like he's going to the subs bench yet, is Tolios, but we'll keep an eye on that, of course.
Still some warm-ups. In fact, there is a substitute being called over just now, Katie. Salados. His touch for El Mazi was far too heavy. Exidius. Iaconis. Looking for McGrath, but Jankovic gets there first. And we will have that change now. And coming off, it's Ben Carrigan. It's Kieran Dover to replace him, so a reshuffle with, looks like Corey Sewell going to centre back. And Kieran Dover, who's missed so much of this campaign due to a nasty shoulder injury in pre-season, comes into midfield. So a bit more creativity in there for the Bentleigh Greens. Certainly an attack-minded change to bring off a centre-back and bring on a creative mid.
Not going to die wondering here tonight is Nick Tolias.
He really does with his changes. Yankovic pushed in the back. Linesman flagging for a Yankovic free. Adams desperately needs an option, and the only one presenting was Long. Daniel Clark does well to keep that one in. Evades the slide of Bowman. It's Daniel Clark to the byline. It's out of play. Groans of disapproval from the South Melbourne fans as Daniel Clark did so well to get in position and then just took too long to deliver the ball.
He's got to be frustrated by that. It's a bit like banging your head up against a wall. I think you need Josh Baresi there, to be honest, to find a touch, to find just that space there to convert the opportunity. Joe Salados hasn't had much of an opportunity
He's
tonight.
barely touched the ball, okay.
Yeah.
Although South Melbourne have equalised since his introduction, I'm not sure it had much to do with him. Here's Mitch Hoare going the other way for Bentleigh and trying to pick the right pass. It's Pierce Waring. 4 in the box. Bowman winning it back. Waring trying to fashion the narrowest of passages to get that ball through. Another corner for Bentleigh. They've had a few in this half.
It's another area where they've just sort of fallen down tonight. They haven't had that, I guess, that repeat pressure. Haven't had that ability to lock the ball in for extensive periods of time. More space is opening up for them here, though. What can they do with it?
Lambatarides. Left-footed delivery, straight to El Mazi. The set-piece delivery has been pretty poor from Bentleigh tonight. And that cross was even worse. Yankovic. Spreading the play to Luke Adams, who's got acres to work in here, and he goes long towards the pacey Zach Bates, but that's going to be straight to Lopez. Adams for Clark. Salados. Iaconis. Dover now. For Exidius. Now Bentleigh can really build. It's McGrath trying the slide rule pass, which is too heavy for Iaconis. Marshall with the diving header away. And now Zach Bates bearing down on the Bentleigh defence, tearing around. And goes down. He's kicked. South will get the free and they want more. It was Webster who went in with studs. That's a really risky one from Jack Webster.
Didn't need to make that challenge, I feel. Just needed to maybe just sit off him and make him make the first move. But it just goes to show you where this game is at. The tension's high here at Lakeside.
Maybe you felt it was worth it to leave a few stud marks on one of South Melbourne's most exciting attacking players. Especially one as injury-prone as Zach Bates. In a bit of pain at the moment. It's one of those where the defensive player just leaves his studs there and the attacker kicks into them.
Try to make him think twice about going for those 50-50 balls, especially in these last few moments here.
Walking with quite a limp,
Yep.
Zach Bates. One for the magic spray, I think.
Looks like there is a sub in readiness, though. It might be Ben Jeeba that they look to. We'll keep an eye on that.
Marshall's headed down. South temporarily with 10 on the field. Lambropoulos thumps it into the swimming pool, I think.
Might even end up on Clarendon Street there.
As much as a clearance as a shot, I think, from Perry Lambropoulos. Not famed for his long-range wonder strikes. Lovely turn from Iaconis now. The release was off. No one as far as the halfway mark for South Melbourne, but that's gorgeous from Salados. Finds a gap where few players could. Elmazi for Hoare. Salados still in a heap near the centre circle. Mitch Hoare in low. Lopez got a touch, but Daniel Clark, in truth, was never close to it.
No one quite there to bring it home, but looks like it might be Zach Bates making way here with the substitution, and it is.
And it is Ben Jeeba coming on in his place, so an attacker off, a defender on.
Might be just the after effects of that collision with Webster
Sure.
just a few moments ago.
Ben Jeeba might be playing further up the park than we're accustomed to seeing him.
Possibly an opportunity for Lambropoulos to get more of a chance to overlap forward, but still quite a defensive substitution there. South might be looking just to bring home at least a point here. They're looking to arrest a bit of a slide coming in off 2 losses in the league.
Marshall to hurl it long. Elmazi wins another flick, but doesn't end up with a South Melbourne player. Bowman. Really crowded area for him to try and throw the ball into. And indeed, it goes straight to Jake Marshall. And again. Bit of head tennis going on at Lakeside. Another one. And finally, we get it back down on the deck. Jeeba. Adams. Thumped a pass straight to Jack Webster. It's gotten a little scrappy in the last few minutes. Can anyone come up with the quality required to win this game? Will it come down to a defensive error? Webster. Braden Crowley looking like he's going through his paces on the touchline. He's exactly what Bentleigh need at the moment. Bit of X factor, bit of movement off the ball. In fact, it's Alex Canilia, I should say. Similarly quick feet, a bit of a different sort of play, but Damien Iaconis comes off, and his former Kingston City teammate, Alex Caniglia, replaces him.
Just hasn't had those opportunities tonight, has Iaconis. Just a bit of a frustrating night for him all around, really, have to say. Just hasn't been able to show his class, his attacking sort of flair that has netted him about 5 goals this season.
Bowman's header. Wearing up against 2 South players and manages to wriggle free. Good ball from Lambatoridis. Igazidias joining the attack. Here's the new boy, Alex Canilia. Left his dribble behind. Lambropoulos found Henry Hoare, but the return was too heavy. Here's Mitch Hoare. Cornelia. McGrath's been positive every time he's managed to get a touch, and he goes himself this time. It was powerful. A low percentage option to go from that sort of range, but it was a good hit.
Been outstanding tonight, I've felt. I think he's been really selfless in the way he's gone about it. Just has that ability to bring open space for his players. Hasn't always quite come off tonight, but hasn't been certainly for lack of trying there. Plenty of space opening up here for South.
That's a well-timed through ball by Salados, but Daniel Bowman comes sliding in with an immaculately timed challenge on Ben Jeeba. Just joining us 1-1. Pearce Waring with a fine strike in the first half. Came clean off his laces on that left boot and into the top corner. South mustering a response in the second. Henry Hoare winning a penalty. And Marko Jankovic, the centre-back with the cultured left foot, sending Javi Lopez the wrong way. It's Lambropoulos with the corner. Could this be a shooting chance? It is for Luke Adams. South will maintain possession and territory, trying to get their shape back after the corner kick. Unclear who's taking this. Looks like Lambropoulos has had to run all the way over from taking the corner to take the throw in. The trials and tribulations of being a set piece taking fullback. El Mazi double marked. Now Hoare. El Mazi. The rebound. And cleared away by Bentleigh. Pavlu. One's misplaced. Given the recent form of both sides, Katie, would South Melbourne take a draw here?
Yeah, I think they would, to be fair. I think that was some of the consensus from some of the faithful in here tonight, but they just need to sort of arrest that slide first. I think they have some players to bring back in through Harrison Soy, who I think they're really missing tonight, essentially. But, yeah, you'd have to say so based on recent form and based on tonight as a whole.
Here's Salados in the box. Heads it for Clark. He took it down so well. Took it flush on the volley, but the deflection took all the sting out of the shot. And it nestled comfortably in the arms of Javi Lopez. Really intelligent play from Salados. Not renowned as an aerial threat, so thought better of taking the shot on himself. That's a poor ball from him, though. And it's cynical foul on Bowman. He might go into the book here too, Jerry Salados. Not a known defender, and we saw that there.
Very much a striker's challenge. As play gets brought back here by Adam Bavka. Bit of a surprise we haven't seen Braden Crowley tonight, you think?
Yeah. Big surprise. You know, he's not the most consistent finisher, but things happen when he's on the field. For Bentleigh, they tend to create chances when he's there. Whether they end up in the back of the net is another matter entirely, but it just feels as if they're missing a trick, not introducing him at least, you know, with 8 minutes to go. What's to lose if you're Nick Tolios? South Melbourne on the charge now. The reverse from Lambropoulos was too heavy for Clark. Waring. Lambatarides with a poor pass.
That bit of play sums up Daniel Clark's night, I think. It has just been frustrating. He's put in a ton of work. He's opened up opportunities for his side, but it hasn't quite come off for him. Just needed someone to play off, and you think that's where Josh Bressie would have come in handy. But that's a great pass for Salados here.
It was Jankovic who picked him out, and here's the substitute, Jerry Salados. Finding Jeeba for the cross. Clark's in there, but Exidias arriving in the nick of time.
Inch perfect interception there by Exidias. Picked this moment beautifully there. That would have been a certain goal, you'd have to say.
Just nicely worked by South. The long diagonal finding Salados in space. The overlapping run. Clark on set-piece duties. Jankovic is at the back post. He was clambering all over Jack Webster. Great vertical leap. But no real power on the header. Salados with a bit of a petulant kick of the ball away. And it's silly when you're on a yellow card. McGrath for Cornelia. Brent McGrath. Switches it out to James Exidias. Hoare with a nice turn. Marshall getting there first. Good positioning from the South Melbourne centre half. Jake Marshall just knew exactly where that cross was going and started running to the spot before it even came in.
Just quickly around the grounds, confirmation at Paisley Park. It finishes 1-1 between Altona Magic and St Albans Saints. Not satisfactory for either side, you have to think, as they look to stay up.
Salados trying to split the defence. Clark might have been offside in all honesty. Strange throw-in from Henry Hoare there, but he gets away with it. Don't often see foul throws called at this level. I think that might have been one. Looks suspicious. Anyway, Jeeba. Jankovic. Finds Lambropoulos. Lovely turn. Perry Lambropoulos running through and taken down. A red card. What a bit of magic from an unlikely source. Perry Lambropoulos spinning his marker, running, well, he would have been clean through on goal there. And Adam Bavka really had no choice. I think it's Corey Sewell who's received his marching orders down the tunnel.
And this game takes yet another turn. Really had no other choice there, did Adam Bavka. Left himself exposed there, did Corey Sewell. Had to make that challenge, but the story is there again. South Melbourne catching out Bentleigh on the transition. Lambropoulos, an unlikely source, but has shown just that sort of desire to get forward, forcing the issue there, and just manufactures a massive opportunity in this moment for South.
Now who plays centre back for Bentleigh? That's the question. Real headache for Tolios. It's a great scoring chance off this free kick. Daniel Clark is one option. Instead, it's the right foot, and it's off the post from Henry Hoare. A beautiful hit. Harvey Lopez was a spectator, and South inches away from the double whammy. A red card and so close to a winner.
Had the keeper and the wall beaten, all ends up there, did Henry Hoare. This game takes yet another turn as South go forward here again.
Chance on for South Melbourne. It's Lambropoulos. Is that a handball on Webster? A controversial moment there. The crowd thought they saw a hand. I thought I saw one too. And Jack Webster, so close to conceding his second penalty of the night. We'll take another look at it. Oh my goodness.
Yep, they've gotten away with the one again. There have Bentleigh Greens. Deary, deary me.
It did rebound off a teammate at point blank range, so you can't consider it intentional, but the hand was out. I mean, who knows with the handball rule these days, but it certainly hit his arm. Controversy at Lakeside.
We'll be having a look at that, of course, again and again, even after tonight is over. Dear me. That may be a massive moment in the context of this season. We'll have a look at that again.
Just going to make heads or tails of what happened there. Yeah, it's two Bentleigh players ran into one another, and Webster put his arm out as sort of a reflex as he caught his teammate. I mean, it's hard to know.
Position, I guess. Yeah.
I guess it depends on your definition. I mean, it's a natural position if you're accepting a teammate thudding into you and trying to stop him from falling over.
Exactly.
So, look, the handball rule, the natural silhouette, I think you'd be going through the bylaws all night to try and find a clear definition, but usually that would be given, and South a little hard done by. So I wouldn't say there was much else Jack Webster could do, to be honest. He had no idea where the ball was. Just a body clanging into him and just ended up punching it.
Yeah, it's hard to think just where he could have, what else he could have done there, of course, but you can put that down in the scene, that given territory. But we look ahead here in these dying moments. We'll see just shortly how much stoppage time there is left.
Jeeba. Bowman knocks it up the other way. Bentleigh down to 10 men. But they've got a chance on here. A numerical advantage for the undermanned Bentleigh Greens. And Alex Cornelia's shot is saved. Now the counter-attack's on for South. A poor release. Impossible for Daniel Clark to do much with that. Now it's Dover for Cornelia. End-to-end stuff to end the 90 minutes. Corner for Bentleigh. How much do they commit forward here?
Doesn't look like much. They have three sitting back. But just they might need to manufacture something here. Haven't had much success on the set pieces tonight. 4
in the box for Bentleigh. It goes back to Exidius. It's a good delivery. Headed down. Begging for a finish. It's Dover! Was it over the line? No! It stays out somehow. Kieran Dover, a lick of paint away from a shock winner for the 10-man Bentleigh Greens.
That was it. That was the moment. You have to think there. Kieran's over with that opportunity. So close.
What drama. A South Melbourne player down injured. So they were a little undermanned. Suddenly it was an even game. Great ball in by Exidius. Headed down for Kieran Dover, who struck it on the volley. And Brent McGrath couldn't put it in the net. Still going. Bentleigh won't give up, despite the red card. And South think they can pinch it too. Sensational. No one wants this game to end. It's Jeeba. Salados. Lovely 1-2. Numbers arriving for South Melbourne, but it's a poor cross for Javi Lopez to wrap his arms around, and the time ticks away. Into the dregs of stoppage time here. It's all up to Adam Bavka. Salados. Chance here for South. Threads it through. Daniel Clark. Massive save. Javi Lopez spread himself and denies Clark in the one-on-one for the second time this evening. Huge chance. And we can barely pause for breath.
Outstanding keeping. Outstanding keeping there from Javi Lopez. The whistle has to be imminent, you think. Plenty of spaces. Both sides commit men forward here.
It's so stretched. It's so end-to-end. Pavlu couldn't find the right weight on that one. Bowman running out of room, but he keeps it in play. Could there be a chance here for Bentleigh? Surely not. It's Dover, the man who nearly took home all 3 points. But he can't find Cornelia. Yankovic joining the attack now. It's Henry Hoare on the ball. Pavlu. Jeeba. Hoare begging for possession. Clark gets it instead. Jinx one way, then the other. It's Daniel Clark. It's brilliant! But they can't wrestle it over the line. And that's full time. Henry Hoare with a glorious chance to win it with literally the last kick of the game. But he couldn't get the lift on his shot. He holds his head in his hands. What a finish to this match. Such entertainment, such drama. But as your two match commentators nearly have cardiac arrests here on the sideline, somehow it peters out to a 1-1 stalemate. God, we love the NPL.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. I got no idea how this game has finished level. What an absolutely massive finish there. Both keepers forced into some miraculous saves. Harvey Lopez nearly turns in a man of the match performance just in those minutes alone. Outstanding, outstanding. Both sides are just out on their feet. They've left nothing out there today. What an ad for the NPL. We're talking about that for weeks to come. What a contest here. Both sides level in this massive top of the table clash. Well played. Well played, both sides. What else can you say? I'm out of breath here.
I think a draw may be a fair result in the end for two teams who gave it absolutely everything. It was push all the chips into the middle of the table and go for glory at the end there. Both sides throwing caution to the wind. But in the end, no one could find another goal to settle this one. The match finishes South Melbourne 1, Bentleigh Greens 1. Katie, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much for stepping up tonight for the call tonight, Josh. And we've seen an amazing contest. Both sides just went at it for 90 minutes and left nothing out there on the field tonight. Can't be separated. Both sides have their chance, and on the balance of things, you have to say it's a fair result. And, you know, we hope everyone's watching has enjoyed it just as much as we did. Outstanding, and a pleasure to call this with you tonight, Josh.
It's been stunning entertainment. We're going to have a cup of tea and a lie down, and we suggest you do the same. Been a pleasure here at Lakeside as the South players give their supporters a round of applause and vice versa. Big action coming your way tomorrow with Heidelberg versus Avondale. But until then, from myself, Josh Parrish, and my co-commentator, Katie Lambeski, it is goodbye for now.